Hi everyone and welcome to Disc Golf Valley Tips and Tricks, and today we're going to do a practice round of Owlwood. And so if you have been struggling to get your 3 stars on Owlwood, we might be able to show you a few tips and tricks to get you along your path to those 3 stars. Since the last video that I posted on YouTube, our bag has changed quite significantly. And so I thought we'd take a look at that before we get started. I have swapped out our Big Skip Extra Glide Rive with a Gulled disc. I picked this up as well as a lot of others you might see in my bag here. The Lots, the Sapphire, Water Skip disc, the Hope, the Claymore. What I did was get the season pass for multiplayer. I've actually been playing multiplayer for the last couple of weeks without buying the season pass, and so I had already progressed quite a ways into the track. As you play the multiplayer pass, you achieve certain levels and you gain discs and coins and that type of thing. Well, I had been playing the free level for quite a ways, and then I decided I might as well just buy the season pass. It's $8.99 in Canada, and that gives you access to all of the disc rewards, the coin rewards, the lightning bolt that gives you a boost on your experience points. And as a result of getting that season pass and actually finishing up the season, I was able to pop a lot of discs into my collection here. And I've also moved some of those into my bag. I still have the 2 strives that we have been working with. You'll see I've still got the 2 tournament discs. And so if you're still working with those as you follow along in this series, we'll be using those a lot. But I thought I'd put in some fresh new discs just to show you how those work as well. All right, let's go ahead with our practice round, show you a few tips and tricks for Owlwood. All right, hole number 1, beautiful day in Owlwood. And hole number 1 is really best played with a distance driver that has the roll attribute. So I'm going to pull out the strive for this. I usually bring my pointer down a little bit, especially if it's a windy day. That minimizes the effect of the wind as it goes down the path. And just put a little anhyzer on that, and it should come swinging around and slide right up to the basket. Or close enough for an easy pop-in. Other than acing this, if it's the first hole of a daily, there's not much else I can show you on this. One of these days we'll have to do some videos that show you how to ace some of these. But for now, let's just show you how to get your 3 stars. Go on to our next hole. All right, hole number 2, and for this hole I usually get out a distance driver that has the roll attribute. I haven't ever tried the strive on this hole yet, so we're going to see how it goes. I'm going to bring my pointer down, and this strive has a tendency to turn off to the right, so I'm going to put a little bit of a hyzer on that in this wind, and let's see how it does. Oh. So, stopped by the stone, which is good because this strive seems to go a little bit further than what we normally would. For 69 distance, I think I'll take out the fuse. And this hole, if you miss the basket, it has a tendency to go in the lake and you lose a point. So what I usually do is bring it up quite a bit so that when it lands, it's not going to slide off so much. It's going to stick the landing. Or hit that tree. So we can come back for a easy birdie. But let's play it again. There are scenarios where you can get an eagle on this. Let's see if we can do that. Replay the hole. So now we know how this strive does on this hole a little better. Let's kind of make a few adjustments here. We want to bring it more over this way, put just a little bit more of a hyzer on it, and bring it down to about there. We want it to swing around, get a little closer to the edge of the lake there. That didn't do it. 61. With the change of elevation, since we have the tree right behind us, I'm going to go straight for it rather than try and do a up and down. And I'm going to bring it down to about here because of the change of elevation. That should be fine. And, ooh, not quite. That's kind of more what we're looking for. And that gives us 37 meters and pretty much no change in elevation. So we've got the tree right behind us in case we miss it. So this is kind of ideal, what you want. 37 meters, we'll go about there. And in it goes for an eagle. Moving on, hole number 3. This is where you want to pull out your fuse disc. Now again, there are ways of acing this, and we'll have to come back and show you that another day. But here, just put your pointer down about here with your fuse and pull all the way down, straight down, and that usually sets you up right up to the basket fairly nicely. And even if it does veer off and you're down below the little landing here, it's pretty easy to still come back for your birdie. So I don't think we need to spend too much more time on that hole. This hole, it's one of the reasons why I keep the Explorer in my bag, is because this hole is just perfect for the Explorer. I usually put my pointer up about there and put about a half a hyzer on that, and it usually comes swinging around and slides up to the basket. I think that with the big variety of discs now, there probably are others that would maybe bring you a little closer to the basket, but this is still a pretty easy birdie. And so I think we can move on. See if we can't find some more challenging holes. All right, hole number 5. Here is a hole that is a little bit more of a challenge, and I think we'll try out a couple of discs here. I think we can get away with this Big Skip Extra Glide disc that shows up by default. Actually, I shouldn't say by default. The way it works is whatever disc you have at the top left corner in your bag, if the basket's far enough away, it's going to grab that disc. So if we rearranged our discs a little bit, we'd be presented with a different one. I like to have the arrow down almost like touching the shore. If you have it up too high, it's going to hit leaves and you're going to be in trouble. So something like that. And we want it to go around those trees. Sometimes it'll skip in for an ace, and that's always nice. But before we move on, let's try another disc here. I want to use the Strive roll disc here. Again, we'll put it pretty much the same position here and check the wind. And I think we can pretty much have the same anhyzer on it, maybe just not quite as much. And that should come sliding up to the basket. I think it hit some leaves there, so it slowed that down, but we should still be able to get this. And normally I would expect that disc to slide up a lot closer to the basket. Let's try that again one more time. Just for fun, I think I'll try the Extra Glide Light here. Almost any distance driver you can make work on this hole. Okay, that's probably enough for this hole. Alright, you take a look at the map up here, you'll see that you have quite a dog leg. Is that a dog leg? You have to really make a turn here to the left. And there are discs that are rated as a big fade, or an extra fade, I think they call it. So if you have one of those in your bag, that will probably work fine here. There's a couple of different ways that you can achieve this, get your birdie on this. One is to actually go around in a conventional way. Let's use our light distance driver here. Put it up to about there in the trees. And these strive discs have a tendency to turn to the right, so I'm going to put quite a bit of a hyzer on that and see how it goes. Well, that did pretty good. But I'm going to show you another way, and that is by using our roll disc as an actual roller. Let's put our pointer right about there. We're going to change it from backhand to forehand, and put your pull down to about here, so it's about halfway down and all the way over, so it turns to a roller. Right now it's an anhyzer, but if you slide it over far enough, it turns into a roller disc. And that disc should be about halfway on that first line, and then let it go. And 9 times out of 10, that disc is just going to roll around and come to rest near the basket. So that's my preferred play on this hole, especially when you're going for a 3 stars. You don't want to lose a point here, get a par or worse. And so that's what I usually do for this hole. All right, on this hole, I think we could probably get away with our flow disc here. In fact, I'm thinking we could get away with either our flow disc, our sapphire here. Even though it's a water skip, it flies like a sapphire till it lands. And then if it lands on water, it's going to skip. If it lands on land, it's going to slide. Let's maybe try that. Just see how it does. I'm curious to know because I just put this in my bag. And with this wind, probably not too much of a hyzer. Will it make it through over that fence? Yeah. So that does pretty good. But I'm thinking that the flow disc will work as well. Put your pointer about there, put a little bit of a hyzer on it, and that should make it over the fence. Come sliding up to the basket. And just out of curiosity, let's see. I think this 9 disc that we got, the lots with the extra glide, will make it as well. Looks like we need to put a little bit more of a hyzer on that, but it does make it over. Not as nicely as those other 2, but it makes it. I would recommend practicing that one to make sure that you can get over that fence, because if you don't, the drop zone for that one is quite a ways back. Next hole. All right, hole number 8. And this is a hole that you should probably spend some time on practicing, because a lot of times when you're going for your 3 stars, when you're first starting out, you can lose it right here on this hole. It helps if you have a big skip distance driver to get you down the path. And we switch it to a forehand, otherwise you end up going in the wrong direction. And bring your pointer down quite a bit, otherwise you hit some trees and you don't end up going very far. And then you should be good. And pull straight down or just a little bit over. I would say pull straight down, depending on which disc you're working with. It's nice when you skip through the trees there and slide down the hill. From here we could just go around this little hill, or if you're feeling lucky, you can go through the trees here. Just have to be careful not to hit any tree trunks. But it's nice to just slip through here and sometimes even get it in the basket. Let's try that again. All right, distance driver again, the big skip preferably, and let's remember to switch it to forehand and bring it down, and either straight down or a little bit of a hyzer or anhyzer, whatever the case may be. Skip through the trees here and down the hill, and I think from here we could just use our pure, come around this side of the trees. Let's lift it up quite a bit. Now there's a little chance we'll actually put this in the basket, but why not try for it? Go, we hit a branch. But still gives us the birdie. Let's use the big skip distance driver again, but this time we'll play it a little bit safe and not skip through the trees, because sometimes you can hit a tree there and you're out of bounds. And so put a little bit of an anhyzer on that. It still comes around. Fortunately, we keep skipping through the trees there. And with our wind that time, brought us right down. We even have a line on the basket here. Let's see what we could do. Uphill, let's bring it down to about there. No, a little short. But we still get our birdie. Okay, play around with that one. Like I say, it's worth practicing that one. What's the last hole here? Okay. This hole can really mess you up. You have to get inside a little sheepfold there if you look at the map. It's all fenced around. If you don't make it over the fence, you're out of bounds and you'll be lucky to get a par on this one, which can really mess you up. Last hole when you're going for your 3 stars. If you don't have an eagle in your back pocket, you could be in trouble here. I would avoid using a big skip disc on this one. Let's go for our roll disc. And I usually bring my pointer down about here, and with a forehand put maybe just a little bit of a hyzer on that. And this is the first time I've tried a strive, so we'll see how it flies. That still goes up into the trees there, but it comes through. It made it. Let's try that again, and maybe don't bring it down quite so much. And maybe to about there, and see if that makes it. Yeah, that's fine. So I think the Strive roll disc is the disc to use here. And easy comeback for the birdie. Do it one more time. So we'll go after our roll disc again, and this time checking that wind. I think we'll put a little bit more of a hyzer on it this time. Counteract that and sneak through the trees here and into the sheepfold. Sometimes on a lucky day, you'll even ace that. Let's use the fuse. For the birdie. All right, there you go. Practice round of Owlwood. Hope you're able to pick up a few tips to help you along your way to get your 3 stars. And we'll see you next time here where we'll actually go after our 3 stars. So long for today.